I found out my husband was cheating 8 months ago when a text popped up on his phone that said, "I love you," with 3 heart emojis. The name on the screen was Henry. But Henry wasn't a man. I synced his messages to our iCloud that same night, and I've been reading every word they've exchanged ever since. Here's the twist that's been eating me alive. His mistress, she has no idea I exist. Not as his current wife anyway. He told her we're separated, that the divorce is almost final, that he's just waiting for the paperwork to go through. And the worst part, I can't even hate her. I should hate her, right? That's what you're supposed to do. But I can't because she's actually incredible. She sends him pictures of handmade holiday cards she creates for elderly people in nursing homes because, and I quote, "the holidays can be such a lonely time for them." She writes him these beautiful little love poems. When he tells her he's stressed about work, she doesn't just say, "that sucks," like most people would. She asks him specific questions about how she can help, what would make his day easier, if there's anything she can take off his plate. This woman is brilliant too. My husband loves that show The Deadliest Catch, the one about crab fishing in Alaska. One day he mentioned something about a boat that sank, and she sent him this incredibly detailed explanation about why the FV destination went down. It was like reading a documentary. She broke down the weather conditions, the mechanical failures, the decisions that led to the tragedy. And then at the end, she wrote about how grateful she was that the fishing industry took it seriously enough to implement stricter safety regulations so fewer families would have to lose someone they love. Who does that? Who takes the time to research something just because the person they care about is interested in it, and then connects it back to human compassion? She does, apparently. Meanwhile, my husband can barely remember to take out the trash. This man doesn't deserve to be in the same room as her, let alone have her believing he's this honest guy going through a difficult separation. Every text I read makes me love her more and hate him more. She'll send him messages at 6 in the morning saying she hopes he has a beautiful day. She remembers little things he mentions in passing and brings them up weeks later. When his mom was sick last month, a mom who by the way still thinks I'm happily married to her son, this woman sent him a care package with his favorite snacks and a note that said she was thinking of him. I've spent 8 months watching this unfold. 8 months of seeing my husband live this double life. He comes home to me, kisses me on the forehead, asks what's for dinner, watches TV on the couch, then goes to bed beside me like everything is normal. Then he wakes up and texts her good morning like she's his whole world. He takes her to restaurants in the next town over. He told me those were work dinners. He bought her a necklace for her birthday. He told me that charge was for a client gift. The lies are so casual for him, so effortless. It's like he's been living in 2 realities for so long that he doesn't even see the contradiction anymore. But here's what's been keeping me up at night. I know I have to end this. I know I have to confront him and tell him I want a divorce. I've been putting it off because I'm not ready for what comes next. See, my husband is a coward. I know exactly what's going to happen. When I tell him I know everything, he's not going to have the guts to face her. He's going to block her number, maybe send some pathetic text about how things got complicated, and then hide behind me like I'm the reason his affair fell apart. Which means I'm going to have to be the one to tell her the truth. I'm going to have to be the one who breaks her heart. Me. The wife she didn't know existed. I'm going to have to look this incredible, kind, intelligent woman in the eye, metaphorically speaking, and tell her that the man she's been falling in love with for months is married. That he lied to her. That she was never his girlfriend, she was his mistress, and she didn't even know it. That everything he told her was a carefully constructed fantasy. I've played this conversation out in my head 1,000 times. How do you even start that message? "Hi, you don't know me, but I'm the wife your boyfriend told you he was divorcing. Except he's not actually divorcing me because I didn't know he wanted a divorce until I read your texts." God, it sounds insane. She's going to feel so betrayed. So humiliated. This woman who makes holiday cards for lonely seniors and researches boat accidents to connect with someone she cares about is going to think she's stupid for not seeing the signs. She's going to wonder if her friends and family will judge her. She's going to question every moment they shared, wondering what was real and what was part of his performance. And the thing is, none of this is her fault. She didn't seduce a married man. She didn't knowingly participate in destroying a marriage. She met someone she thought was available, someone who pursued her, someone who told her he was free to love her. She's a victim in this just like I am. Maybe even more so because at least I know the truth now. She's still living in his lie. I don't want her to feel ashamed. I don't want her to cry herself to sleep thinking she should have known better. I don't want her to lose even an ounce of that light she has inside her, that kindness that radiates through every message she sends. But I know she will, at least for a while. That's what betrayal does. It makes you doubt yourself, doubt your judgment, doubt whether you're worthy of real love. The selfish part of me wants to tell her because she deserves to know, but also because I want her to see him for what he really is. Liar. A manipulator. A man who's so empty inside that he needs two women to feel whole. And even then, he's still hollow. But the part of me that's grown to care about her through these months of reading her words doesn't want to be the messenger. I don't want my face or my name or my existence to be associated with the worst day of her life. I've been preparing myself. I've got a lawyer. I've been moving money into a separate account that he doesn't know about. I've been documenting everything, every lie, every receipt, every text message. I'm not going into this divorce unprepared. But the legal stuff, that's easy compared to what I have to do for her. I've written out what I want to say to her probably 50 times. I want her to know that she did nothing wrong. I want her to know that his lies aren't a reflection of her worth. I want her to know that the qualities that made him pursue her, her intelligence, her warmth, her creativity, those are real and valuable, and someday someone who actually deserves her will see them too. Someone who won't have to lie to be with her. I want to tell her that I don't blame her, that I actually admire her, that in another universe we probably would have been friends. Hell, maybe in this universe we still can be. Is that crazy? Is it insane to hope that after I blow up her entire relationship, after I tell her that the past several months of her life were built on a foundation of lies, she might still want to know me? Not right away, obviously. She'll need time to process, to grieve, to be angry. But eventually, maybe she'll see that I was trying to protect her too. That I could have stayed silent, could have let her keep living in ignorance while I quietly divorced him, but I chose to tell her because she deserves the truth. Because she deserves better than to waste more of her precious time and energy on a man who sees her as an escape rather than a partner. My friends think I'm crazy. The few people I've told about this situation don't understand why I care so much about her feelings. They say she's the other woman, that she should have asked more questions, that it's not my job to manage her emotions. But they don't know her like I do. They haven't read months of her messages. They don't know about the time she sent him a playlist she made called Songs That Make Me Think of You. And every single song was about building a future together, about trust, about forever. She wasn't trying to be someone's secret. She thought she was someone's future. And my husband let her believe that while coming home to me every night. The timeline I've set for myself is 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I'm going to sit my husband down and tell him I know everything. I'm going to watch his face as he realizes his double life is over. I'm going to hand him divorce papers that are already filled out. And then I'm going to ask him for her contact information. And I'm going to reach out to her myself before he has a chance to spin this into some story where I'm the villain. I'm not going to let him control that narrative. She deserves to hear the truth from someone who actually respects her. I've been carrying this weight for 8 months. 8 months of pretending I don't know. 8 months of saying, I love you too, when he says it first, knowing he said the same thing to her earlier that day. 8 months of sleeping next to someone who thinks I'm completely oblivious. 8 months of watching a good person fall deeper in love with a man who isn't capable of loving anyone but himself. Ends in 2 weeks. And when it does, I'm going to make sure she knows that losing him isn't losing anything real. She's losing a liar, a cheater, a man who was never who he pretended to be. What she's gaining is the truth, and eventually, the freedom to find someone worthy of that enormous heart she has. I just hope that someday, when the dust settles and the pain isn't so fresh, she'll understand that I never wanted to be the person who hurt her. I wanted to be the person who freed us both.